Welcome to DevVenture with MTK. This is the 62nd DevVenture live stream in building Project-AstroMiner, the space shooter game. Now, at the end of our last session, we had done an audit of all the most recent changes to our code base and determined that everything was in order as or rather in accordance with what Perplexity has helped us to design, right? Like design and program and code. And now the only thing left to do is step 5, designing and running the test scene, right? Just 1 second. So now I need to go back into Godot engine and actually establish those test scenes. Right now, before we do that, I just want to ask Perplexity for a breakdown of what kind of things we need to do, just so that I don't have to spend unnecessary amounts of time or energy thinking about that myself. We can actually focus on doing the higher level thinking, leave the low level thinking to the AI, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's break down the steps required to make the test scenes or test scenarios actually you described in step 5. By doing this, the process becomes operational rather than strategic or tactical, and I can spend time, energy, and effort on the debugging and further implementation rather than building test cases. I'm ready when you are. Okay, so let's see what it says. Here is a concrete operational checklist you can follow next session to build the tests. Well, this is the next session, but okay. Phase A, normal flee success test. The goal, verify that in a simple case, the ship flees, reaches a safety radius, and resumes the pattern without a triage. Right, so open testing seek behavior, ensure that one enemy ship route exists with an NPC behavior manager, has a danger sensor already set up, and at least one waypoint in front of the ship. And in the inspector for behavior flee on the ship, have the safety radius with these parameters, have an NPC behavior manager with those parameters set up. Then you run the scene, use UI accept to trigger the test attack pattern, and watch the log. Confirm that you see flee is activated, a safe distance is reached, override is completed, and the pattern restores and continues. Right? Then phase B is a local timeout test, a single bad flee. Right? Then that's the description for this one. Then a global timeout plus triage level 1, triage level 2 with an emergency safety, triage level 3, surrender / arrival at Centroid, and that's it, right? So there are 5, E5, right? So there are 5 phases to setting up this test, and each one has the to-do list, in quotes, to-do list of what we should be doing, or how we should actually go about getting that done. Okay, that means I can take this, move it to the side, this side over here, right? to my right, and then go ahead and set that up. Okay, so in testing seek behavior, which we are in, open the scene, we need to go ahead and check something, right? Firstly, in the inspector, at the root, that there should be an enemy ship, and that enemy ship should have an NPC behavior manager, a danger sensor, and at least a single waypoint set up in the scene. Okay, so we can undo the editable children. That's fine. Undo the orbit camera's changes. That's also fine. Right? And now we know, okay, so the scene is set up as it should be according to the to-do list. And then on step 3, we need to go into the inspector for behavior flee on enemy ship. So let's just save this, go to enemy ship in NPC behavior manager, behavior flee. We need to set the safety radius to 40. Okay, so look, these are all arbitrary values that Perplexity has come up with. It doesn't even know how far apart the waypoints are. So really, setting it to 40 is just overkill, right? If you look at testing seek behavior, everything is so close together. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the waypoint transform and I'm going to times it by like 3. I'm going to make it 3 times as big, okay? Just so that everything is further apart, it's more spread out, and we can start testing with larger radii and distances and all that kind of stuff, right? So here I'm going to say this times 3 is 153. And that's way further out. Okay? The problem, of course, with doing it this way is that now the orbit camera has why is the orbit camera not showing its script? Okay. I see. Is there a reason for this? Why is the root a node 3D instead of just having the character body? Whatever, it's fine. What we'll do is we'll open up the orbit camera in scenes, components, general components, orbit camera.scene, right? So here we have our root, and all we need to do here is change maximum and minimum zoom. So we'll change this to 150, well, 180. We'll double the zoom out, right? And we'll halve the minimum zoom. So we can zoom in right up until 5. And we can save that. Okay. And then going back to testing seek behavior, we can set up the distances, right? So waypoint 1 was 153. Waypoint 2 can be negative 153. And then waypoint 3, everything is just times 3, right? So minus 153, 153, 153, 153, 90, 90, 90, minus 90, minus 90, minus 90, and finally 36 times 3 is what exactly? 6 times 3 is 18, so it's 108. Yes, confirmed. So waypoint 9 is 108, 108, 108. So now everything seems further apart, though this one kinda doesn't. Maybe it's 108 instead. Ah, that's better. Move it onto the z-axis to be negative 108. Alright, that's better. And something else was still 90. This one. Okay, now we can go to flee and change this to be better, right? So change the safety radius to be 40 and the maximum flee duration to be 5 seconds, which it is. The flee distance to be 150, which it is. And then in the NPC behavior manager, on the script for that, we just have to go maximum override duration. Why are these not exported variables? NPC behavior manager. Right on top here. Maximum override. Override. Duration is 15 and the override distance is 200. Okay, that's fine. It isn't exported, but it's set to be the right values. Now we have to run the scene. Okay, so we'll save that. We'll run the scene. And then use UI accept to test the test attack pattern. Hold on. Oh, okay. That's way further out than I was expecting it to be. So we'll say test attack pattern. What? What was that? Did you see that? That's so weird. Why did the projectiles just stopped? Well, it's on its way. It's moving really slowly for the space that it has to cover. But okay. Interrupt. Find a random waypoint and go to it. Going towards 8. So the zoom distance needs to be improved. I should probably change the number, the enemy ship number ID, or whatever you call it, enemy ship ID color, to be red, so that we know that it's an enemy ship and not a waypoint. I should change the colors of everything, right? So waypoints have a color, enemy ships, pirates have a color, mining vessels have a color, and also the numbers need to be smaller. They need to be smaller. Wait, where are you going? All the way up to 5? Okay, look, this is way too big. Triple the size. Triple the size was too much. So let's go back and change this, right? So triple the size? No. So 102. 102. 102. 102. Minus 102. Hundred and 8 over 2 is 54. What is this? That's the enemy ship. (108 times 0.666). 72. So this is wrong. It should be 72. This one minus 72. Right, that's more like it. So now if I run the scene, it shouldn't be as large. Oh, I see. Waypoint 2 and waypoint 4 are clashing. So if I go onto waypoint 2 and waypoint 4, it's the same. So waypoint 2 needs to be negative 102. And waypoint 6 can be something else. What are these ones' values? Minus, minus, minus. So 6 can be minus, minus, plus. Yeah. Okay. And then mining object can double the distance on that one too. Minus 46. Okay. So we can save that, run the scene, send the the enemy ship towards waypoint 2. Off you go. It will hit the mining object safety radius, perform a flee, and then hit the waypoint and continue doing its job. Right? Now I can do test attack pattern. It's going to go back towards waypoint 1. Yeah, there it goes. It's doing its arrival. See, why does it do that? I see. Here. Entered body danger sensor. So the bullet is hitting the danger sensor. I need to open up bolt behavior. Heavy bolt. Okay, so here on top, wait, no. It should be somewhere down here. On plasma body entered. So I'm going to copy this output and put it into Perplexity, and let's see what happens. What does it tell me? Okay, so here's the output, or rather, here's the adjusted scene, because first we have to change the scene, right? We have to show that we've changed the scene. Listing seek behavior, show in file system. And then open in file manager. Select all and copy it. And then in Perplexity, I can paste it here. So here is the adjusted testing seek behavior.tscn file. Okay. And here is the output from the last run. Can open up the output, copy it, paste it there. As you can see, the plasma bolts are hitting the safety radius and are being destroyed before they can reach the target. Please help me figure out how to fix this. Which script files do you need? And where should we begin? Okay, so here's what it says. The bolts are colliding with the same danger sensor that's meant for the ship, so they get caught and removed before they reach the target, right? So where to start? Begin with the projectile scene or script, plus the danger sensor or collision setup. Alright, so in the plasma bolt scene and the script, the root node type is an area 3D, rigid body 3D, character body 3D, its collision layer and collision mask. How it decides when to destroy itself, and then danger sensor already have the script. Now also check its collision layer and collision mask in the inspector. Once those are shared, the next steps will be define distinct physics layers, set the danger sensor to, and then set the plasma bolts to. So please send the plasma bolt scene or script, and then the enemy ship root nodes collision section. Okay, so I'll send him those scenes. Scene, components, general components, plasma bolt scene. Here is plasma bolt scene. And here is enemy ship root. Okay, private enemy scene. Now here is behavior bolt.gd. Okay, so it's this one. please have a look and let me know if there are other script or scene files you need from me. Here, so the bolts are being destroyed on any area 3D enter, including your own ship's danger sensor, because behavior bolt does not filter by type or group. In behavior bolt.gd, change the _ready function and the handler so it only reacts to valid hit targets and not danger sensor or the shooter. So in the ready function, if area entered.connect on plasma body on plasma bolt area entered, timer timeout connect destroy initialize material. Replace the old handler with 2 separate ones or just add filtering. Then in ready, you can connect both if you like. This stops bolts from dying just because they touch the danger sensor. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side and get started on that. Open up Godot Engine again. Now in the ready function, enter, timeout, initialize material. Okay, and then on plasma bolt area, on plasma body area entered, area 3D. We'll paste that code down here. And then we'll make a separate one over here called this signature. So the mistake I made was I had the same name for the functions. So I just differentiated this to have area entered and then body entered because they are different, right? They are behaving separately. Now, back in the ready function up here, I need to connect body entered and area entered. So let's just do that part. All right. Now, the last thing to do, this stops the bolts from dying just because they touch danger sensor. And now in step 2, we need to use collision layers and masks to prevent sensor projectile hits. So in plasma bolt, set collision layer to a dedicated projectile layer, like layer 4, and then set collision masks to hit player enemy ships, damageable objects, and obstacles. Make sure it does not include the sensor layer. And then in danger sensor, give it a sensor layer, like layer 8, and set the collision mask to only include obstacles, mining objects, and environments it should avoid. Ensure it does not mask the projectile layer. And then this way, physics will no longer report bolt or sensor overlaps at all, and then you verify that with logs. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. In the inspector on plasma bolt, which is currently not open. Oh, here it is, never mind. in collision. Set the collision to a dedicated projectile layer, like layer 4. And set the collision mask to hit player enemy types. Enemy is on layer 2. And so on the mask, it should be layer 2 and layer 1, because the player collision is layer 1, right? And the target, where's target? Target is on layer 1, and the waypoint is on layer 4. Interesting. It should be layer 3, I suppose. Then danger sensor should have its own layer, so layer 5. And it should only include mining objects. So where's the mining object? Here, mining target. Seek, shoot, NPC behavior manager, gun, arrival, flee. Okay, now the mining target, mining object, in collisions, it needs to be in collision layer 6. And in entities, miner player, NPC components, seven, and the mining target was on 6, so its mask should be for 7, and the miner player should be for 7, or 6 rather. 6 and 7, 7 and 6, good. So what I'm doing here, by the way, if you were wondering, collision layers, these are just so that things of the same layer collide, or rather they don't necessarily collide because they mask out. So here you can see if I hold on the mask, the physics layers this collision object can scan for. Collision objects can scan for one or more of 32 different layers, right? So object A can detect a contact with object B only if object B is in any of the layers that object A scans for. And the same thing over here. The physics layer this collision object is in. So it's scanning for things in other layers while being in a separate layer, potentially, right? So it could be that I'm looking for collisions with the same kind of object and other objects, right? So in this case, the mining target is in layer 6 and it's looking for collision with mining vessels, whereas the mining vessel is in layer 7 and it's looking for collisions with layer 6, right? So mining targets. It could also collide with other mining vessels, and it should also collide with other ship vessels, right? So enemies like pirates and defenders. So if they crash into each other, that should register as a collision and cause problems. Now, oh, my mistake, I hit the mic boom. Sorry for the unnecessary noise there. See, now this is the kind of thing that I should have recorded in like an Excel or something, in a spreadsheet somewhere, that I could say, oh, layer 1 is for enemies, layer 2 is for layer 1 is for the defender, layer 2 is for the pirate, layer 3 is for this, and 4 is for that, and so on, up to 32 bits, right? 32 bits. But I haven't done that, and I should have done that, and I'm so frustrated that I hadn't thought of doing it that way, because now I have to go ahead and actually do that, which is going to take time and effort and energy and all that kind of thing. And it's going to complicate things now because I'm going to have to go through all the possible interactions and manually go through all of them and make sure that everything is in order. It's okay. What can you do? You have to just go ahead and do it anyway, right? So, okay. That's fine. Right, now I need to go into pirate enemy, check the danger sensor. The danger sensor is in layer 5, scanning for... What is it scanning for? It's scanning for players, other enemies. It's scanning for targets. Well, it's scanning for mining objects, which is in layer 6. It scans for mining vessels. So player, other pirates, so the defenders, other pirates, mining vessels, and mining objects. And waypoints. So what is a waypoint in layer 3? Right? Actually, no. The danger sensor isn't looking for waypoints as a danger. It's looking for things that are going to harm it, right? So if it crashes into a defender, a fellow pirate, or a mining vessel, it's going to cause damage to the pirate. And if the pirate crashes into a mining vessel, or rather my mistake, a mining object, like a mining target, that also causes damage to it. And so therefore, the danger sensor should be looking for these target objects, right? It shouldn't be looking for other danger sensors because that defeats the purpose. It should be looking for the center of the danger radius, right? The danger sensor, which is the pirate or the other vessel, whatever the vessel type is. So that's okay. We'll save this. And now we can go ahead and test it. We'll open up the 3D view of the scene and begin testing. So if I press spacebar here, we'll see that the pirate is making his way towards the waypoint. One moment, please. So I just need to do something for like 1 minute and then I'll be back. I'm sorry about this interruption. Okay, I'm back. My mistake. I mean, not my mistake, my apologies. Okay, so the pirate vessel heads off towards waypoint 1 as expected. Now we begin the test. It's still hitting something and dying still. Material is null. Applied material. Mesh material exists. Setting the color. Entered body. Enemy ship. Character body 3D. What is the target collision layer? Collision layer 1. The danger sensor is layer 5. And the plasma bolt is layer 4. So why is the danger sensor picking up plasma bolts if plasma bolt is in layer 4? Okay, so that's clearly not working, and I'm not going to spend unnecessary amounts of time trying to figure this out when I don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the code, or the output rather. So that didn't work. Here is the output from the last run. As you can see, it still hits the danger sensor. I've adjusted the layers and masks. But that didn't help. What do you suggest? Do you need the scene files? The bolts are now correctly ignoring the danger sensor, but it is still colliding with the enemy ship body and being destroyed immediately after spawning because there is no filtering on plasma body entered. From the log, entered body, enemy ship. This is not the danger sensor, it is the enemy ship root, character body 3D itself. So there are two problems. The bolt spawns inside or very close to the ship's body collider, and on plasma body entered treats any body as a valid hit and calls destroy. This is why bolts disappear at the muzzle and immediately trigger flee. Add minimal filtering to the bolt. First, ensure both signals are connected in ready, which they are, and then change the handlers so they ignore the shooter by instance ID. They only damage things in target group. So we need to take this and change it so that if the shooter is picked up in collision, do nothing. If you are not yet assigning shooter ID correctly, then also add this line, and that will immediately stop enemy ship root from killing the bot. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side again. Like I always do, and we can begin testing, right? So back to the script in bolt behavior on bolt area entered. If area is in group, but before that, if it's a danger sensor, return. I see, so there should be a group called sensor in global groups. We can add that to a global group. We can call it sensor, the danger sensor field of an NPC AI actor. Okay, so now the danger sensor needs to be marked as part of sensor, and then in testing seek behavior, actually not in testing seek behavior, in plasma bolt behavior. If area is in group sensor, which it is now, do nothing. If area is danger sensor, do nothing. And thirdly, if area dot get instance ID is shooter ID, then return I see. So no, it shouldn't be get instance ID. It should be shooter ID. In the ready, I suppose. Okay. And then in the body entered, ignore the body shooter. If body get instance ID is shooter ID, then return. Okay. Let's give that a test. Go. Still not working. That's deeply frustrating, you know that? Entered body, enemy ship, character body 3D. So copy that. If it still misbehaves, oh, move the spawn point outside the ship collider. Even with filtering, it is better structurally if the bolt spawns in front of the ship's collision shape. And in your gun script, ensure that you spawn from a dedicated muzzle node placed just beyond the ship's nose. Set the bolt transform from that node. And if it still misbehaves, if these three changes, if after these three changes bolts still die instantly, the next files that will help are gunship, a gun NPC, danger sensor GD, and the collision layers and masks of these three. Before sending those, do the smallest possible test change. Add this at the top of on plasma bolt, but plasma bolt body entered. Then run once and paste the new log. That will show exactly which groups the bolt is seeing on impact. Okay, so in the script editor, behavior bolt, on body entered. If body is in group enemy ship, so if body is in group enemy ship, then print what? Huh? This should work. Why isn't it working? Oh, it's not tabbing. No. Okay, there we go. It was an indentation issue of some kind. Okay, so that was the one thing. The other thing we need to do is to move the spawn point of the gun in pirate enemy. So where's the gun? It's over here. We'll focus on it. Yeah. It's way in the middle of the ship there. So I'm gonna move that out. So the danger sensor is this thing. Collision of the main body. Gun for the pirate. Just move it out. Over there. And if I go into plasma bolt, the centroid is at the center. So just move this a little further out, somewhere there. Like that. Okay? Then I can save this, go back to the test and try again. And this will be the last this will be the last test I do for this live stream. We have almost run out of time. We have a few seconds left, so let's go ahead and test this. And while it's doing its thing, I'm going to take this chance to say thank you very much to Cubes. He's our junior DevVenturer on my Coffee page. you guys can go ahead and check the link, coffee.com/mtkdev, and the link is also in the description. Perfect, it's working. Now, so over here you can see the link to my Coffee page is there. You can also go ahead and check my Discord server, the community. The link is in the description of this video. And to support this channel in non-monetary ways, you can like this video, subscribe, share the link with others, and interact with the content with comments and by joining the Discord community. Okay? So thank you so much for your time and your attention, and I'll see you in the next one.